How do you get your African gray to stop plucking? Welcome to my bliss, Parrot Bliss. In this video, I'm talking about African grays, but Cammie here thinks that she should eat my button. Hey, nope. All right, let's send you flying so that we can talk about the grays, please. If you watch my channel, then you will know that I have... Oop, go fly. There you go. You'll know that I have a couple African grays, although that's another macaw, and that I adopted them as adults and they pluck. Now, once an African gray has developed the habit of plucking and has plucked for about a month or more, it's very hard. It's said that it's very hard to get them to stop, and here comes my macaw back. Yes, I know. Yes, I know. So, like, really expecting the African grays not to pluck is probably unrealistic. Apparently it releases endorphins, which I think has to do with sometimes they pluck to line the feather, the nest with feathers. So what mother birds will do, which you probably know, or it's very logical. Oh my goodness, there's feather butt in my face. What they will do is they will take feathers or their babies in order to line the nest if they feel like the nest is... There she went. Can you see her over there? Okay, if they feel like the nest is come here, Adonis, is getting too much poop to keep the babies clean. Hi. Now, this is Adonis, and Adonis does really well. She, bless her little soul, I also adopted as an adult, but isn't a plucker. Yay! Right, Adonis? Hera also lets me pick her up, but, oh dear, and that's going to scare and bother Adonis. Here you go. You want to go back? You want to go on top? And then I'm going to see if I can get Venus for you. Now, Venus used to pluck more, and the magic ingredient is... well, actually, before I tell you the magic ingredient, I guess you have to understand that African grays pluck for a variety of reasons, and I will put a link to my blog where I did as much research as I could, and I made a really good list of reasons that they pluck, because it can be anything from stress or boredom to, I understand it can be a yeast infection, and they get dry skin. You know, it could be things like that, but basically I think that you can easily say that it is caused by an imbalance. So, given that it's an imbalance, the question is, what is out of balance, and what can you give the bird to give them back that balance, whether it is physical to the physical body, or whether it's emotional, you know, whatever is needed for that well-being. So, of course, in addition to giving my parrots a good diet, which is a pellet-based diet with vegetables, and for the African grays, nuts, because they need fat from nuts. In addition to that, I'm actually giving them some CBD oil, because it actually, well, because the CBD oil we sell is in hemp oil, and it has the correct balance of omega-3s to 6s. So that's going to restore some balance, because if your parrot isn't getting the right fats, that could be one problem, like it could be out of balance. And the next thing is, African grays really need sunshine. So I'm giving them the oil so that they relax and they're a little more calm. Oh good, now you could see Venus in there as she starts to turn around and walk away. And I'm giving them sunshine. You could see, I mean, you know, that African grays have a lot of dark feathers. Those feathers are made to absorb the sun. So they really need a lot of sun, and apparently, I think some research is being done, and they're finding that their skin really needs some sun. There's my damaged umbrella, and you can see she needs to eat. Now, I have to tell you that one thing that's kind of frustrating for me is you kind of research and talk to different experts, and they all give you different amount of time for how long your parrot needs to be in the sun. Some avian veterinarians will tell you that, I'm trying to get her to fly, that you can get a full spectrum UV and UB light, and that's enough. You know, you turn it on, and some experts say you don't want it too close to the cage because it'll burn their eyes, and we had a little problem with that. Some experts say it can't be too far back because then like it won't affect them. I don't know. So I think the very best ingredient is actual outdoor time. Outdoor time gives them both the right UV rays, plus it also gives them fresh air. And I do think that fresh air is kind of like a magic ingredient. It doesn't cure everything, but I think it can really contribute towards healing a lot of things. So now she's showing you better. You could see that right around here, Venus is still plucked. I haven't seen those feathers grow back in. I think I don't know how long she plucked before I had her, but once they've plucked enough, they will damage the follicle. Now, in case you didn't know this, with African greys, once they pull their feathers several times from the same place, their feathers will switch colors because the follicles, like, I think they get confused. And so when you're buying an African gray, you have to be kind of like a little savvy and recognize that if someone tells you that they're red factor, it may or may not be true. If you can see on Venus, let me see if I could show you. If you can see, her gray feather has a little red in it. She is not red factor. She's damaged the follicle from pulling out the feathers. So now the feathers are like confused. And I think, you know, if she keeps pulling them out, the follicles will just eventually stop making feathers. So right around here, she's gotten better. Like, it's a little harder for us to tell the difference between Adonis and Venus. We kind of have to look and really look at the neck to find which one's Venus, which really tells us that her feathers are growing in better. But I think some of it may be permanent. You know, some of those feathers may not grow back. I do find that giving them a couple of hours outside, and of course we're in Florida, it's hot, it's humid, so I try to bring them out at like 6 or 7 in the morning, and I leave them out, it depends, until 11, 12. I watch them, I make sure they're not getting too hot, I make sure they have water, I spray them, and depending on the day, like some days it's overcast and it rains, which is wonderful. Those days I'll leave them out longer, so it just sort of depends. But I have an open door policy, as you can see. You can see, you know, you can see Adonis is right there and Venus is right there. They're doing good. I think they're happy. I think it's like watching television out here. You know, they watch birds fly by. They watch ducks go by. You know, they just, and nothing escapes them. They see everything. Even when they're indoors, I'm sure you've noticed that your parrots notice when a bird outside flies by the window. It's, you know, they're super, super duper aware. So that's my magic ingredient, and I'm gonna have to show you. Let's see if you could see. Macy, oh, I don't know if you could see her. Macy, my African cape, obviously got down from her cage, and she's come looking for me. So, as best you can, make sure that you give your plucking African gray or your non-plucking African gray. You know, like I said, I've had experts say 15 minutes a couple times a week. I've had experts say, no, they need direct sun, like every day. I'm finding that if I can do a couple hours in the morning and I try to catch every day, oh, that hurts. I'm not a button. I'm not a button. I think that's fantastic. Putting them by a window alone doesn't work. Our windows tend to be, they block the UV lights so that we don't get them in the house. So you literally do need to put your bird outside a couple hours a day. If you could do that, it's going to make a really big difference. I think your parrot is going to feel better. Their feathers are going to look nicer. And if you have a plucker, I suspect that that's going to make a big difference. Be sure that you have a good diet for them, because diet's going to affect it as well. And like I said, I'm giving our CBD hemp oil because it helps them really kind of relax a little if they're nervous or anything like that. And it helps rebalance the right omegas, which is really important for humans as well as parrots. All right, Parrot Bliss, thank you for joining me. If you have any questions, anything you want me to talk about, please let me know. Otherwise, I hope your day's a little cooler. It's summer, so who knows? And here comes Kemi to say goodbye. Thanks for joining us.